And they still chose to move forward with the Bachelorette season regardless. And that's not a good message to send your viewers or the public that, hey, you can beat someone up and even have your child get injured as a byproduct of that, but it doesn't matter. We still need the show to go on. What's up, everybody? What's on the menu? Back with another video, and this time we're here to talk about the cancellation of the most recent season of The Bachelorette, starring, or would have been starring, Taylor Frankie Paul. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of this video, don't forget to like the video if you like it, don't if you don't, and if you like the content I put out about celebrity and pop culture related news, don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave a comment down in the comment section down below. And without further ado, let's get started. The new season of The Bachelorette was actually slated to premiere on March 22nd, and unfortunately it will not, due to the fact that Taylor Frankie Paul, the show's Bachelorette of the season, has gotten to a lot of hot water. Recent video evidence has resurfaced of Taylor Frankie Paul's domestic dispute with her ex-boyfriend, Dakota Mortensen. The video of Taylor Frankie Paul and her now ex-boyfriend, Dakota Mortensen, are seen of them having a dispute of some sort, and she resorts to physical violence in order to clap back at him for whatever issue they were having at the time. And in doing so, she also hits him several times, as well as throws a metal chair at him. He ends up hitting her daughter, which is actually quite unfortunate, to say the least. The whole incident as a whole is unfortunate because it's not right that anybody should be the victim of domestic disputes, but I think that having it on camera kind of just shows how brutal it can be at times, especially when there are parties unrelated to the issue involved. What makes it even worse is that her child, who is not Dakota's child whatsoever, was hit by the chair, and she was the mother of her own child, ended up hurting her child in a domestic dispute, which is really messed up because she couldn't control her emotions in that scenario. And it's just kind of really messed up in that scenario because a child should not be in the middle of any domestic dispute you and your partner may have, and the fact that they ended up getting hurt as a result of that is actually very, very sad. One of the biggest issues I want to have with this whole thing is that a lot of the tabloids that I see covering this issue are talking about how ABC is going to lose tens of millions of dollars from the fact that the season is getting canceled, because obviously they have partnerships with certain companies and certain locations to basically have advertisements for their locales and transportation methods as a way to get more revenue for their company. It's kind of a win-win situation. You know, they use their facilities or whatever equipment they have for the Bachelorette season. It's basically a promotion for whatever company that is, and everyone wins. But by not airing the show whatsoever, those companies don't really get the exposure they want and benefit from the partnership they had with the Bachelorette. While that may be unfortunate for the companies that did have partnerships they thought they could benefit from, I think the bigger issue at hand is the fact that the domestic violence thing is kind of swept under the rug, or kind of seen as more minimal compared to the money that the company's going to lose. ABC is a subsidiary of Disney, if I'm not mistaken, and we all know that Disney is a multi-billion-dollar corporation that has their hands in several different business ventures. If it's not movies, it's television, it's theme parks, other TV stations that aren't just Disney. Though they have ABC, they have ESPN, they have Fox. You know, they have their hands in a lot of different pots. So if they lose a few million from a TV deal gone bad or their actor messing up, they're not going to hurt. I think the bigger issue here is that there was a whole domestic violence issue, which a kid ended up getting hurt in, and the star of the show was being platformed, even though the company was well aware of whatever incident that contestant may have been involved in before the shooting or casting of the show. The incident with her and her past partner Dakota happened in 2023, which was about 3 years ago. So even though the whole court settlement has been settled since the video came out and everything, the information about Taylor's domestic violence issue was information that could be found even if you just typed in her name online regarding the domestic dispute. It's not to say that someone's trying to smear her name now and people are trying to prevent her from moving past this issue, but I think the fact that ABC had no issue platforming her even after hearing that she had domestic violence issues is kind of concerning in itself. A lot of times you see in media that there are actors or actresses that involve themselves in suspicious activity, and because of whatever they may have been involved in, the network they're involved in kind of cuts the umbilical cord before anything drastic can come of it. I think the whole Jonathan Majors scenario is a good comparison for this one, because Jonathan Majors had a career that was on the up and up. He was supposed to be the next big bad in the new Marvel movies. He was supposed to be Kang. He was in 2 seasons of Loki. He was in Ant-Man Quantumania, and his career was going up. But when his whole domestic violence issue came up with his girlfriend, Disney waited until the verdict of guilty came out for him before they decided to drop him, and they had all the facts. But while, ABC had the news and evidence as well as the guilty verdict of Taylor Frankie Paul committing domestic violence, they still chose to stick with her and choose to air the season of The Bachelorette. It was only when that information became public of the domestic violence issue as well as the video evidence that they decided to drop her, which is very sketchy. And I'm not trying to play the gender game based on one person got crucified this time, but another person got let off with a slap on the wrist until the evidence became clear. But I just want to say that domestic violence is something that shouldn't be advocated or swept under the rug for any individual. Yeah, people can grow from their mistakes and become better people, but this was pretty recent. It was like 2-3 years ago that the whole thing was settled for good before they decided to go forward with her being the Bachelorette. I don't think that if they knew this was going to be such a big issue, they should have platformed her in the first place. Because by doing so, you kind of just send a message that, yeah, domestic violence is bad, but, it is what it is. We need the entertainment show to keep going, so let's just put her on there. No one's really going to care. It only was when the evidence of the domestic dispute was released online that they decided to cancel the season altogether. They were well aware of the fact that she had this issue going on or had the issue in the past. They still chose to move forward with the Bachelorette season regardless, and that's not a good message to send your viewers or the public that, hey, you can beat someone up and even have your child get injured as a byproduct of that, but it doesn't matter. We still need the show to go on. All in all, I just think that the media, tabloids, even the corporations that are funding these entertainment entities to any way, shape, or form need to take domestic violence and any serious issues coming forward more seriously, because if you want people to actually tune into your shows and whatnot, they can't just ignore every little red flag that may accompany any actor or entertainer you put on screen. Editor menu here, but I just wanted to list 2 examples of actors/actresses that had controversies that were raging in the headlines and it didn't result to positive movie sales or screening sales for whatever project they were putting out. Look at Ezra Miller when he was on his Flash debut tour. All his issues, which I won't list, but you can look it up if you're really interested, prevented the movie from doing as well as it could have. I mean, the movie wasn't good at all, even after the fact, but still his antics off screen did not help shed good light on the movie. And also Sydney Sweeney recently, she's put out a bunch of flops in theaters, and because of the way she's behaved off screen, it hasn't sat well with people who want to see her movies, and her ticket sales are definitely hurting as a result of that. So just 2 examples of actors/actresses whose bad off-screen antics don't translate well into the audience wanting to see their projects that are going to come out. Of course, now that it's great that we're all speaking out against domestic violence as a whole, and I think it's more so done on the side of women who are being abused by men, but I think the same needs to happen in the reverse when women are also beating on men, so that way we don't have a one-sided look on how domestic violence is treated. Whether you're a man beating a woman or a woman beating a man, domestic violence should not be tolerated. The way the media also handles domestic violence should be tolerated better as well, because they shouldn't be caring more about the money that companies are losing as opposed to the fact that someone has an abusive past and is getting off scot-free by almost getting a whole show put on the air television without that being an issue for them whatsoever. What do you guys think? Do you think it was right that ABC decided to cancel the whole season of The Bachelorette due to the fact that Taylor Frankie Paul has domestic violence issues, or do you think that they overreacted and they should have just played the whole season as they were going to? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Deuces.